was the man's name, and he'd been born on the 11th of November, 1918. The baby boy had arrived with the peace. At 5 o'clock in the morning, as he was fighting his way out into the world in the National Hospital in Norway, a ceasefire agreement was signed in a railway carriage in the French town of Compiègne. 6 hours later, at 11 minutes past 11 a.m., on the 11th day of the 11th month, the most dreadful war in the history of the world until then was over.
"Peace,"
Elev said quietly.
"It is peace we must protect."
"Peace," Tryggve repeated, nodding his head. "Exactly. Peace, freedom and democracy. That is what we must ensure." He grabbed the edge of the table with both hands. "Don't you see what's happening, Elev? Can't you see that everything is falling apart? Don't you appreciate the respect for everything that's the very foundation of—"
"The meeting is over,"
the old man interrupted.
"The decision has been taken. You are the Minister of Justice, Tryggve. You, of all people, ought to know the rules we are bound by. It was not this threat that we were to vanquish. Not all this. This is just—"
His hand waved the rest of the sentence away. At the same time, the signal caused the till now almost invisible woman dressed in black, who stood by the door, to tread soundlessly across the floor towards him. With practised movements, she unlocked the brakes on his wheelchair and pushed the casket further down on Elev's lap.
"You'll hear from me by summer,"
he mumbled, as he was wheeled towards the double doors leading into the detested bedroom in which he was forced to spend more and more of his time.
"If I am spared."
He knew that no one could hear this final remark. Mina, Maya, Selma. "You really can't go on like this." Dad was standing in the doorway. Mina glanced up. He looked exhausted. He raked his hand through his hair in a gesture of despair, just like when Mum was at her most unreasonable. "I can well understand that this has been difficult," he said. Mina did not answer. "Ingeborg was ill, sweetheart. Extremely ill. She was exactly the same age as me, Dad." Crossing his arms, her father leaned his shoulder against the doorframe. He had put on weight, she noticed. His stomach was hanging over his belt, which was too tight, and his face was pale, even though the weather had been bright and sunny for the past fortnight. There was not much sunshine inside his office, of course, or in those black limousines, or in the Parliament building, or on planes, or in meetings, or in bed, for that matter, into which he usually collapsed long before it had even crossed her mind to call it a night. "Teenagers get ill too," he said softly. "Even small children get cancer and die. Accidents happen. That's life, unfortunately." Mina ran her thumb over the display on her mobile. "She didn't have cancer," she muttered. "No. Ingeborg was healthy a year ago." "Yes, and then she became ill. These things happen. She was driven to death by bullies." His eyes narrowed. "Now you're being melodramatic." "You know nothing about it." "Yes, I do. The police have looked into the case, and Ingeborg was not subjected to anything more serious than what every teenager in this country sadly—" "Ingeborg just couldn't stand it," she broke in. "Were you the one who knew her, or what? Were you the one who had to comfort her?" "Yes, I knew Ingeborg. Not the way you did, of course. But she was your very best friend. Naturally I knew her. It was terribly sad that she died, but 6 weeks have gone by since the funeral, and you must somehow—" "Get over it? Get over Ingeborg? Is that what you're saying?" She shouldn't cry. Shouldn't. She bowed her head and covered her eyes with one hand, quick as a flash, a magic invocation to ward off the tears. She forced a smile and looked up again. Dad looked so worn out, even more so than when he'd come in only a few minutes ago. He nodded his head slightly in the direction of the living room. "Shall we play a game? Chess? Cards?" Mina shook her head and placed her thumb on her phone. "Tryggve Meyer is a traitor," she read aloud. "He'll be first in the queue when the